My name is Elena Whitmore, and I'm 31 years old. If you asked me a year ago what my relationship looked like, I would have said steady. Not fireworks, not chaos, just solid. The kind of relationship you build when you assume love is something you tend, not perform. I was wrong about one of those things. We'd been together 3.5 years, Marcus Hale and me, living in my condo for just over 2. The place I bought before him, before us, back when stability felt like a finish line instead of a starting gun. Last month, I planned what I genuinely believed was a good date. Not a lazy one, not an afterthought, a thoughtful one. There's this quiet spot by the lake about 20 minutes outside the city. No foot traffic, no influencers. Just water, trees, and the kind of silence you don't get unless you drive for it. I packed homemade sandwiches, roasted vegetables for him, turkey and brie for me, his favorite wine, battery-powered fairy lights because we'd be there past sunset. I even brought a blanket thick enough to actually sit on, not just for aesthetics. I spent 4 hours setting it all up. When I picked Marcus up, he smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. That should have been my first clue. When we got there, he nodded. It's nice. We ate, talked a little, watched the water catch the light as the sun started lowering itself into something gold and cinematic all on its own. Then he sighed. This is nice, he said again, like he was trying to convince himself. I guess. I waited. Why can't you be romantic like guys in movies? He asked. It landed heavier than he probably meant it to, or maybe exactly as heavy as he intended. What do you mean? I asked carefully. You know, he said, gesturing vaguely at the sky. Grand gestures, passion, drama, like when Noah hangs from the Ferris wheel in The Notebook, or the boombox scene in Say Anything. He laughed, but there was an edge to it. You're just predictable, Elena. Where's the excitement, the story we tell our kids someday? Our kids. He said that while calling me boring. I packed up the picnic in silence. That night, he showed me Instagram posts, his coworker's girlfriend getting a flash mob proposal, helicopter dates, fireworks, public declarations. See, he said, that's romance, that's cinema. I looked at him for a long moment before saying, you're right. His face lit up. Let me be more cinematic, I added. He smiled, kissed my cheek. I knew you'd understand. By Friday, I'd made my decision. But at that moment, sitting in my car outside the condo, fairy lights still tangled in my trunk, I didn't know yet that I was already halfway out the door. I just knew something had cracked. And once something cracks, it never goes back to being solid again. By Wednesday, Marcus doubled down. That was the part that still makes my stomach tighten when I think about it. Not the initial comment, not even the comparisons. It was the persistence, the way disappointment became expectation. I came home from work to find his laptop open on the kitchen counter. I wasn't snooping. I didn't have to. The screen was tilted just enough that the title was impossible to miss. Romance Goals, Elena, 72-point font. Decorative serif, pinned right to the top. I stood there longer than I want to admit, scrolling. Helicopter rides over city skylines, surprise trips to Paris, a staged accidental meeting at an airport gate, a full-blown Titanic bow scene on an actual ship. Each pin had notes. Why can't she think like this? This is what effort looks like. If she wanted to, she would. My name wasn't in the captions, but I felt tagged in every one. Thursday, he texted me a TikTok during a meeting. A man had rented out an entire restaurant to propose. Candles, musicians, the works. Marcus added, some men just get it. That was when something inside me went very still. Because here's the thing Marcus forgot. Movies aren't just about grand romantic gestures. They're also about walkaways. The quiet ones, the earned ones. The moment the protagonist realizes they've been cast as a supporting character in their own life. By Friday afternoon, I took a personal day. I rented a small U-Haul. While Marcus was at work, I packed only what was mine. And I was meticulous about it. The television I bought before we moved in together. The coffee maker. The cookware. My grandmother's china. The one he loved using for Instagram dinners. I even took the shower curtain. Petty? Maybe. But it was mine. Then I set up my phone. Tripod. Living room window. Perfect angle of the parking lot with the sunset directly behind it. Golden hour. The kind cinematographers chase and almost never get right. I hit record. Marcus got home around 6:30. Babe, he called out, why is it so empty in here? I was sitting on the one chair I'd left behind. My keys were in my hand. Where's the TV? he asked, laughing nervously. What's going on? I'm giving you what you wanted, I said, a cinematic moment. He frowned. What are you talking about? You wanted movie romance, I said evenly, but the best movies are honest. And honestly, I'm tired of being told I'm not enough when I'm giving everything I have. Elena, this is insane, he snapped. Over one comment? One comment? I stood up. You've been comparing me to fictional men for months. The Pinterest board really drove it home. His face went pale. You went through my laptop? It was open on the counter, I said. Hard to miss romance goals. Elena in giant letters. I walked to the door. The sunset was perfect. Unreal. Like the universe was complicit. I turned back once. You want a movie moment? I said. Here's one. Sometimes the woman realizes she's been auditioning for a role she never wanted and rewrites the ending. I walked out, got into the U-Haul, drove away as the sun set behind me. All of it caught on camera. By the time I reached my friend Derek's place, my phone was vibrating nonstop. I didn't answer. By morning, the video was everywhere. The video hit 500,000 views before I'd even finished my first cup of coffee. Derek leaned against his kitchen counter, scrolling on his phone, eyes wide. You know this is everywhere, right? I know, I said quietly. My cousin was the one who convinced me to post it. Just put it out there, she'd said. Let the story exist without you having to explain yourself. So I did. The caption was simple. He wanted movie romance. I gave him the ending of 500 Days of Summer. Within 36 hours, it crossed 1 million. The comments were brutal and oddly validating. She wanted the notebook, but got the notes. Not her taking the shower curtain. I'm crying. She wanted drama. She got a trilogy. That sunset deserved an Oscar. Marcus did not appreciate the audience. The first night, he called 18 times. Then came the texts. This isn't funny. You took the shower curtain. The neighbor saw the U-Haul. What did you do? You're being immature. Please come back. We can talk. And then, buried between apologies and accusations, one line stopped me cold. You know Olivia means nothing. Olivia. The coworker whose Instagram he'd shown me. The one whose boyfriend staged the flash mob proposal. I hadn't said her name, not once. I stayed at Derek's all weekend. Saturday morning, Marcus's sister showed up at Derek's door. Derek, absolute legend, opened it just enough to say, she's not here, then closed it again. She knocked for 20 minutes. He put on his headset and went back to his game. That afternoon, my property manager called. Apparently, Marcus had tried to change the locks on my condo. The locksmith asked for proof of ownership. He didn't have it. He tried to claim I was emotionally unstable and that he needed protection. The locksmith called the property management company. They called me. I sent them the video. The manager laughed. This is cinematic, she said. Don't worry, he won't be touching anything. Sunday was when things turned. Marcus found the video. By then, it was at 800,000 views. The comments were merciless. He posted his own response, calling me emotionally manipulative, accused me of weaponizing social media, said I abandoned him without warning. Someone in his comments posted screenshots of his Pinterest board, all 237 pins. His video disappeared within 4 hours. Monday morning, his mother called me. Elena, she said softly, what happened? I told her everything. There was a long silence. Then, I'm sorry, she said. I raised him better than this. An hour later, Marcus texted, my own mother is taking your side. That afternoon, the real bomb dropped. A DM from Olivia. She'd seen the video, and apparently she was tired of being a footnote in someone else's fantasy. She sent screenshots. Marcus telling her he wished I were more like her. Good morning texts with heart emojis. Late night venting about how I didn't understand him. Nothing explicitly sexual. Everything emotionally intimate. I posted the screenshots with one caption. She wanted a plot twist. Chaos followed. Olivia's boyfriend saw it, dumped her, posted his own video throwing her ring into a lake. That one went viral too. Marcus called 67 times. Derek counted. By Tuesday, security had his picture at my workplace. By Wednesday, his lawyer sent a letter. And by then, I wasn't surprised by anything anymore. By Wednesday, Marcus had officially entered what my lawyer later called the extinction burst. That frantic, spiraling phase where entitlement realizes it's losing control and lashes out in every direction. He hired a lawyer, a real one. The letter arrived by email first, then hard copy, formal, aggressive, demanding $5,000 for emotional distress, the return of shared property, and a written apology for defamation. He claimed I'd stolen half the value of the improvements he'd made to my condo. Throw pillows. My lawyer, Derek's older brother, a man who lives for moments like this, responded with receipts, screenshots, proof of ownership, his Pinterest board, his messages to Olivia, a reminder that Marcus had never been on the deed, the lease, or any utility account. And a final line, any further harassment will be met with a restraining order. The legal threats stopped. The chaos didn't. Thursday morning, Marcus launched a GoFundMe. Help me rebuild after emotional abuse goal, $10,000. He claimed I'd abandoned him, left him homeless, taken everything we built together. He raised $47 from his mother. She commented publicly, "This is for groceries. Get a job." The GoFundMe was mass reported and removed within 6 hours. Friday, he went nuclear. He contacted my employer, claiming I was emotionally unstable and posting revenge porn. HR launched an investigation. They reviewed everything: the sunset video, the messages, the Pinterest board, the screenshots. My boss leaned back in her chair and said, "This is the most justified breakup I've ever seen. Also, that sunset shot is gorgeous." I got promoted 2 months later. Marcus wasn't done. He found my dating profile, created Wednesday night, sue me, and started making fake accounts to match with me. The messages were unhinged. "This is what you replaced me with? No one will ever love your basic picnic energy. I was trying to help you improve." I screenshotted everything. The app banned his IP address. Saturday morning, my doorbell camera sent an alert. Marcus was standing outside my condo with a U-Haul, Olivia, and 2 men he'd apparently hired off Craigslist. "I'm moving back in," he shouted through the door. "You were a guest," I replied through the camera. "Please leave." He argued. Olivia argued. The movers looked increasingly uncomfortable. I called the non-emergency line. The police arrived, reviewed my documentation, asked Marcus to leave or face trespassing charges. One of the movers shook his head and said, loud enough for the camera to catch, "Lady, this is crazy." That was the last time Marcus showed up in person. A month later, the dust settled in the strangest way. The sunset video hit 3.2 million views. Someone submitted it, ironically, to a short film festival's real-life cinema category. It didn't win. It got audience choice. I framed the certificate, hung it in my bathroom. Marcus's final attempt at revenge was reporting me to the IRS for unreported TikTok income. The IRS sent a letter that essentially said, "Ma'am, this is a Wendy's." I started dating again, slowly, carefully. The first date, a picnic. Same spot, same lake. He brought homemade cookies and said, "This is perfect. No flash mobs required." And for the first time in a long time, I believed him. Marcus wanted cinema. I gave him a whole trilogy, the breakup, the fallout, and the credits rolling while I walked forward. Sometimes the most cinematic thing a woman can do is leave.